Hello everybody, James with Reef Aquaculture here, and welcome to my channel where I talk about everything aquaculture for the marine aquarium. So I have a 150 gallon Planet Aquarium tank, and this is my saltwater mixing station. So I wanted to talk about the inspiration of it and how it works. I'd like to put a shout out to Mr. Saltwater Tank, who builds professional systems for people and makes videos on it. And this is kind of a copy of one of his systems, but also I watched about 10 to 15 videos on YouTube explaining how their systems work. So I just wanted to give a little, just to show people what I've done here. So they're two 90-gallon polyethylene food grade tanks. There's usually some type of seller, in different areas that sell these tanks. But what you can search for on Google is poly tanks, P-O-L-Y tanks, and that stands for polyethylene. But these are used in many different industries. These ones cost about $200 each, so they're not inexpensive, but they're not crazy, and they're super useful. I got the heavy duty ones. There's different wall thicknesses that you can get. The only reason I got the heavy duty is because that's the only one the guy had in stock at the time, and they're only like $10 or $15 more for the thicker wall. You don't necessarily need the heavy duty for this application, but that's what I decided to pick up because it was convenient. So these tanks are, I believe, like 60 inches tall and about 24 inches in diameter, and they have little markings on them. It's pretty cool. There's 70 gallons, 80 gallons, and then 90 gallons way at the top. When you pick up the tank, the place I picked them up from was nice enough to drill the tank for me, but if they won't do it for you, then they're very easy to drill. You just have to get the appropriate size hole saw. So they have these nice caps on them that you can unscrew. There's a smaller lid that you can do to have easy access to, and then you can easily remove the larger lid. They're both threaded and easily removed. The bulkheads I have are called Banjo. I don't know if they say Banjo on them, but they're much better than the typical ABS aquarium bulkheads. They're made out of polypropylene, and they're several times stronger and more durable. So I'd highly recommend using the polypropylene Banjo, P-A-N-G-O bulkheads for this. These are 3/4. If I did it again, I would probably use a 1 inch just so I can get higher flow rates and higher mixing rates through the system, but 3/4 inch is fine as well. I have several Schedule 40 1-inch ball valves, true union ball valves that work out pretty well. Connected to the system is a Jebao, I think it's a DC 6000 pump, and I had to purchase these converters that thread on there, and I also put some silicone on the threadings because some of the pumps are weird in regards to the thread. I think they use this thing called British Standard Pipe Thread, which is difficult to find in PVC, but there are a couple companies that offer these conversions. I can try to put a link to the converters below. The reason I'm using this Jebao pump is because my main display aquarium has this, I think it has a DCT 12,000, but they're interchangeable pumps, so that if my return pump in my main aquarium ever has a problem, I can just switch it out, and I'll definitely recommend doing that for you too. This is one of the reasons I get a little bit more inexpensive pumps, so I can get backups in case one goes down instead of buying the $500-600 return pumps. So the left is fresh water and the right is salt water. I have my RO line coming in here that fills the system up. My RO system is on the other side of the garage, so you can't see it from here, but I do have a flow valve on the top that stops the RO from coming in once it gets full. And then you can kind of see the water line there, so that's convenient as well. And then when I want to pump fresh water into the salt water, all I got to do is figure out where it's draining from, which is right there. Make sure that valve's open, goes from here into the pump, and then it's going to be pumped up here. This valve is closed. It's going to come up here. This valve's closed, and then this one's open. So you have to open that valve up to get the salt water in, or the fresh water into the salt water tank. And then if you want to recycle the salt water, all you got to do is open this valve here, close that valve, water will go in there, up, that one's closed, fresh water should be closed and this one should be open again. So that's going to create a circuit with just mixing the salt water. So works very well. You never have to stick your hand in there. And then I have my auto water change set up to on these doser pumps that go up and into the attic and then into the aquarium. Let's see here. The PVC plumbing is pretty straightforward. It's off the 1/4 inch. You know, you get your T's and 90s. I'd recommend picking up extra of each one that you think you're going to need in case you know, something comes up where it's unexpected. But I have my pump mounted a little bit below the tanks, which is convenient. And then I have this hose outlet, so you can hook a garden hose up to here as well to pump out whatever fresh or salt water you need. The other benefit of this is that if the water level is above here, you don't even need to turn the pump on to get the water in there. So it's just gravity fed. If I were to, actually next time I'd probably put this probably a little lower to the ground so that you can have more room for gravity feed. In case your power goes out or you don't want to turn the pump on, just makes it a little bit more convenient. So anyway, this is my saltwater mixing station. I can usually, the way I mix the salt too is that I have this little fill line, so when it gets down to 50 gallons, around there, I just throw a bag of the salt in. I got my Instant Ocean salt right here. So basically each bag in there is 50 gallons. It doesn't really go out. I usually fill it up to about like 85 gallons because the 50 gallon mix doesn't make a full 50 gallons at 1.026, but it's super easy. Just cut the bag open, throw the salt in, turn the pump on. I can pump the fresh water over to the saltwater bin in just a couple minutes, and you know, less than 5 minutes I can have 50 gallons of new salt water mixed up. So it makes it super easy. Definitely the way to do it. You know, works really well for me. Let me know what your thoughts are. So hope you enjoyed the video. Reef Aquacult here, signing out. You guys take it easy.